All right, hey guys, it's Audrey and Vera of the podcast Permission to Hustle. This is episode 3, and today's topic is why you shouldn't rely on just one expert. Why you really should, for your hustle, whatever it is, talk to a bunch of different people. You know, we really, the basis and the point behind this podcast really comes from, Vera and I have been doing what we do for, over a decade. So for us personally, we know that when we have a question, when we have a thought, or we have something that we're curious about, we have come to the realization over the last, 12 years that everybody does feel, I guess, in a way that they're an expert. Everybody feels that what they say is sound advice. And it is. I mean, everybody that you ask has their opinion. Maybe that's the best way to be phrasing it. What's your opinion on this rather than what's the deal with this? But, one thing that we've really taken to heart, and one tip that's really worked for us in our quest to, hustle, is that, don't rely just on one expert. Ask around, find a million experts, because you're going to get great information, great advice.
Yeah, I think something that I tend to do as part of my daily routine, just because it gives me peace of mind, and it actually really does give me peace of mind, is every morning I have a couple of newsletters that I am signed up for. And there's sort of tech news and industry news and social media related content. And I sort of leaf through them, and I just sort of hear the latest and the greatest of what's going on with Facebook and YouTube and, just sort of tech as a whole. And then I know, okay, nothing crazy changed. Google didn't have a new algorithm hit. YouTube didn't crash and burn. I kind of know what happened last night while I was sleeping. And then I like to just sort of read what's going on in the Facebook groups that I'm joined in. So I go and I read what my peers are saying. Did anything big happen last night? Did anybody notice anything about any particular, shadow bans or hashtags or whatever? Was there any outliers that made people nervous? No, great. Then I sort of do I have any personal questions that I need to ask? And if I do, I really tend to ask 3 or 4 people. I don't go in to one expert, quote unquote, and then take their word as gospel, because I always find that the more people you ask, you're always going to get a different opinion. And what I try to do is I try to just take as much information as I can and come up with my own sort of interpretation of it all. And a perfect example of this is, whenever you read information about Instagram's policies, it's always based off of some blogger's viral post, and they say, oh, you shouldn't have more than 20 hashtags. Mm-hmm. Oh, you're not allowed to edit your captions as soon as you post them live. Oh, wait a second, you're never allowed to put an ad without the hashtag. You're not. And yet, none of this information is on Instagram.com's website. This is all hearsay, but yet people are taking it as gospel. Am I allowed to put 20? Are you only allowed to have 5 hashtags? Is the optimal number 3? Nobody knows. But yet these people are writing it as experts, and then other people are quoting them as gospel.
Right.
So you're walking around saying, oh, no, I heard it's 5 hashtags. But is that right? Is it right just because you've heard it? And so that's sort of like what you do. You go around and you ask a question about Pinterest or Facebook or whatever your story is, and then somebody has heard something. But is it really true? Unless it's from the actual horse's mouth. Yeah. Unless Mark at dinner told you that Facebook ads need to look like X, Y, and Z, then it's not gospel. Yeah. And so I really prefer to just really reach out to 4 or 5 people. And if there's a big consensus amongst the 4 and 5 people, then that's sort of what I like to take.
I mean, think about it this way, and I actually just heard a woman talk about this recently at a conference I went to. If I went to a doctor and I said to Vera, so you're going to need surgery. And she's going to say, why? Well, because of this. I would think, because I know how I am, that if a doctor told me that I'm going to need surgery, I'm going to go to 2 or 3 other doctors to get a second opinion and a third opinion and maybe a fourth, depending on what it is, why they want to do surgery on me. It's funny how we'll do that for ourselves, for like a health thing. It's like just commonsensical, right? You go, you get a second opinion. You 100% do that. When it comes to sometimes our businesses and our hustles, we just sometimes rely on one person's opinion, one person's experience, and that's just it. And when it comes to your business, I mean, listen, and I know, like what Vera said, she likes looking a lot at the the industry stuff, and then she'll go to her Facebook groups. One person, I think it's always, if you're looking for something as simple as, I just recently got the piece of advice too to actually go out to people just on my personal Facebook wall, because I'm talking about content. I had someone tell me, like, you got to add more content about this. And my attitude is, but if I'm trying to get people to read my blog, maybe I should actually ask the people who are reading my blog. I don't want to take someone's just opinion who doesn't really know me that well, simply because they know what works on their blog. So maybe it's something, just as simple as going to my Facebook wall and saying, hey, listen, what kind of content really works well for you guys? What would make you come back to Mom Generations? What would make you come back and read again and again and again? Like, what should I do? Should I add some series in? Do you guys want to see some more food? You want to see some more crafts? Really stop for a minute and think about, when you're asking people, never be afraid to ask for just more information. Never be afraid to ask other people. I think that, especially in business, I think it's fun to be able to jump really quick at what someone's saying, and to react really fast, because you think that if that's working for them, it's definitely going to work for you. And that's not always the case. It could be a different topic. It could be a different size. It could be a complete different way that they are making money and that they are monetizing. And I think that one thing that Vera and I do, and I don't want to say it's a bad thing. I just think it's how we are. But sometimes I know that we get really, like, if we hear someone's doing something, then we have to do that immediately, and we go full steam ahead. And then sometimes the best thing to do is to kind of take a step back and go, okay, so that's what's working for them. So maybe I should figure out if that would work for me, because when I stop and look at it, we don't have the same audience. We don't have the same people coming to us for the same information. I'm going to even use affiliate marketing as an example. One of our friends, Carrie Lynn, from SheSave.com, she's an amazing blogger who has been teaching a lot of us how to do affiliates, because that's what really works for her, and it's incredible for her. And what I appreciate about Carrie Lynn is that she said, there's a big learning curve. Like, you're not going to jump in and make a ton of money right away. You have to grow with it. You have to massage it. You have to try it. You have to see what works for you. Does it work better on Facebook than it does on your blog? Does it work better on Twitter than it does on Instagram? You have to take time. But maybe a year or so ago, I tried affiliate marketing, and I just like, okay, then every single thing I have to put a link in, because that's what this blogger does. And, I quickly saw that I wasn't making any money, and I wasn't doing it correctly. I was just jumping in full steam, and I was getting irritated and upset that I wasn't making money right away. You really do sometimes have to just take stock in what works for you and what doesn't, what you want to bring into your blog and what doesn't. And the people that you're asking for advice and asking for tips, and the experts that you're going to, make sure that what they're giving you is advice that really could work for you. And sometimes that is just as difficult as trying to implement some stuff, is maybe even being smart enough as a businesswoman to say, I just don't think that's going to work for me. I just don't think we have the same audience. I'm going to try a little bit of it. I'm going to try maybe 20% of what they gave me. And if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. If it does work, great. But I can't go full steam ahead in, because I don't know if they understand my audience. So again, it all depends upon what, your hustle is. But, really make sure, which I think is the true piece of this podcast. This will probably be a short and sweet one. But, when you're asking people and we're looking for experts to give you some advice and some opinions, ask a few people. Don't just get one person's philosophy. I think that, like Vera said, if you can get 4 or 5 different people and take bits and pieces from each one, that's what might work best for you,
And I think also along the same lines, it's really important, like another thing that is really important to remember is keep talking. Keep talking to your peers. Keep talking to your colleagues. I mean, I love to just have conversations about what it is that I'm doing, and I love to hear what other people are doing. Even if it's not something that I necessarily might want to implement, I just like to hear about what's working, because maybe somewhere down the line, it might be something that I will want to do, and now I know who to go to. So yeah, I'm not really keen on affiliate marketing just yet. It's not something that I try to do it maybe once or twice a week at most. It's not something that really is sitting with me, but I do know the people that do very well with it. And so if 6 months from now I go, I'm doing this, I am 100% doing this, I need a crash course, I know who to go to. I know because I talk to everybody and I know what works for everybody. And so I think the other really important factor is it's great to not to isolate yourself and to be part of your community, whatever your community is, and talk to people outside of your industry as well, because people outside of your industry are also doing things that could help you as well. Everybody's doing something amazingly. Everybody can do one thing great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I might not do it fully. It's really, I can't do them at all. So let me just,
Well, we haven't tried. We're just trying.
I know.
It's been what, like 2 weeks?
I know.
We're 2 weeks in.
I'm 2 weeks in.
2
I'm
weeks in.
already crashing. But, basically but I could pitch and I can write a deck and I could sell bacon to a pig. I mean, I could.
Yeah, you got to know what you're good at.
I know what I'm good at. I mean, if this world crashed and burned, I could be a salesperson. I could do anything along that line. I could do that 110%.
Yeah.
So I could teach anybody to do that if they ever felt uncomfortable about maybe selling an event, selling themselves, selling opportunities. No problem. I can help you with that world. Can you help me with this? And so that's how it's the give and take in this world. And so keep talking, but keep talking to more than one person.
Yes.
Keep
and
talking.
I love what you said about out of your industry too. I mean, I know that you love the trade stuff. I'm obsessed with like more business stuff. Like I love stories of how people created businesses and how they sustain them. And I feel like some of the best advice I've gotten has been from people that don't do what we do. Where it's like, I actually got some great advice, which I had told Vera about, from one of my personal friends who is not at all in the digital world. She literally is just on Facebook and Instagram as pure personal, and watched our entire Permission to Hustle retreat and gave me some amazing feedback on it. Like, this is what you should do. This is where you guys should grow with it, because she's a businesswoman and she doesn't do what we do, but she deals with business owners and business women every single day. So that was interesting to me to hear that piece of it too. So
I love it. I mean, so that's basically our short and sweet podcast for the day. If you want to find us online, you can check out Permission to Hustle on Instagram, or you can use the hashtag PTHcrew. And of course, on Facebook, you can search for the group Permission to Hustle.